How do you see just that government contracting side growing as another line of business?
That right now, I see it growing just based on the fact that the feedback that I'm getting is like, you can actually be reached.
A lot of small businesses miss that opportunity, and they literally just like, here's my capability statement, which is like a resume. Give me a contract. And it's like, but they don't know you from a can of paint.
Yeah. Try it, you fail, you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
But for them, I'm always saying, hey, I tried it the bad way. Now it's like I'm always finding myself saying, hey, man, trust me, I did that before. It's going to hurt. But I was like, no, you got to let him experience it.
Bold Move Besties, you are back for part 2. We are talking with Jason Lapointe of J. August Media. We are talking all things government contracting, family life, pivoting, and what it means to bounce back. I'll catch you on the inside. What about so you mentioned Carter. We
Yes.
kind of let's give Chase some shine. But how's dad life?
Oh man, dad life is cool. So me personally, when Chase was first, we were nervous, but I was like, no, this is gonna be cool. So having one, it you get the itch to have another one because you're like, no, I want this. He needs to experience this with someone,
right?
And then we had Carter, which is the second. Chase is the first, but I love it because. It's crazy going backwards again. So I know I mentioned my mom passed, but shortly after my mom passed, my dad left. So I was raised by my grandmother. But every when I hit the age when Carter and Chase, it was 2 times to happen, they hit the age to where I was when my mom died, which was 9, and that is always like so hard because I always look at Brizette, my wife, and I'm like the whole year it's different.
Yeah,
2 times that happened is different because I'm looking at them and I look at her, I'm like, dang, I was that age. I was that age when this happened. But then like every age after that, I'm like, oh my God, you're experiencing a mom. It's like even when he's 14 now and Carter's 10, almost about to be 11, I'm looking at him like, oh my God, you have a mom. And then, my dad, like I said, 2 years after he left, so I was 11. And then when 11 hits, it's like, I'm looking at that, like that same year when they hit 11, I'm like, oh my God, it was this age. So then every year after that, so it's so weird. I can't explain it. But then I'm looking at them from a father perspective, and I'm like, there's no way on earth, like for me, like seeing them, imagining myself not being there.
Yeah.
So even when like different things that they're going through. It's like, for instance, Chase is he's a teen, and Brizette sometimes she's like, I don't understand this. Why does he just randomly scream or just randomly? Oh, I was like, because he has it's testosterone, and I'm trying to explain to her like because I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, he's gonna go through it. He's a teen, and this is Teen Boys. And for me, like he would do things. He would tap on the table, and I'm like, I don't want to ask him why are you tapping on the table. It's just because he's getting energy out, and that's just natural. And I don't say anything. She was like, how do you so patient? I was like, because I was the same way. I was the same. She doesn't understand that, but she's slowly but surely getting it. She's like, if you pop that gum one more time. And again, but I would say she has the patience. Oh my God, like no tomorrow. Like for me, if he taps it 3 times, I'm
it's
done.
a wrap.
I'm taking the table outside. You got to go outside. But I think it's really cool because right now I'm getting to experience what I didn't have.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, I have to watch it because it's more at times being helicopter parent because I'm like, I didn't have this, but I don't know any other way to, how can I say it? So for me, it was try it, you fail, you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
But for them, I'm always saying, hey, I tried it the bad way because there was no other guidance outside of my brothers and, my friend's father, which really helped me out a lot because he was like, okay, he doesn't have a dad. He's a good kid. Yeah. I'm going to stand in place. But it's like now it's like I'm always finding myself saying, hey, man, trust me, I did that before. It's going to hurt. But I was like, no, you got to let him experience it. And I'll always, now if Carter runs and he trips and hits a wall, I said, I told you don't run because that carpet is like that. He's like, I get it now. I was like, you get what I'm saying? Was that a good idea? No, it was a bad idea. So I told you. But I think that's the balance right now that I'm struggling with. Like, you can't tell them everything. You got to let them experience it.
Exactly.
Because they're not going to know how, when they get older in the real world, it's like, I'm going to call my dad and figure out how to figure this out. Like, half the time, I'm like, you're going to figure it out, bud. Yep. You got to go for it.
Yep. That's that problem solving and the critical thinking skills. And
yes.
Yeah, making those mistakes and, like you said, learning from them. Yeah. You'll get there.
I know.
It's okay.
Right now, it's just like, I get a text like, hey, Dad, I'm hungry. I'm like, all right.
Go microwave.
What do you, like, when I'm going to eat? I don't know. Figure it out. Yeah. And just sit there and like, huh? I gotta figure this out. I was like, you're gonna have to figure it out. We're not always gonna be here.
Well, but that's good though, right?
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to with the boys as they continue to grow up?
Wow, I would say the biggest, by far, the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to the most is their wedding. Whenever they decide. And I know that's kind of bad because one may never decide to get married. I don't know which one that may be. Carter. Carter's like, look, this is about me. This is my life. But I think I'm looking forward to that because it's like, just not training them, but letting them see like healthy relationships. Yeah. And my wife and I, we try really hard to let them see that. Like we always say, hey, babe, I love you. And we say it, we don't try to hide it.
Yep.
Or even to them. Because again, it's always natural with guys to say, we're so macho, we're not going to say it. But no, I say, hey, bud, I love you, man. Or they're like, no, that's not a real hug. I don't care if you're 14. I don't care if you're getting taller than me. Give me a hug, you know? Right. And my wife will say, that's not a real hug to Dad. Give Dad a real hug. And he's like, all right, Dad. So I was like, but I always want him to know that, like, hey, you can say you love you. You don't have to hide your feelings. Yeah. And I always tell him, like, even like now, because again, for me, it was always, man up. You're small. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. And I always tell Carter because, he's on the smaller side. I always tell him, I say, hey, I know we're short, but Dad's been shorter his life. Don't worry about that. I was like, but even if he cries about something, like something hurt him or he got hurt, I always say, I understand how you feel. It's okay to express your feelings. Yeah. But I want you to learn from this, like right now, I was like, I understand that it's hurting you right now that you can't go outside because you have to do your homework. I understand. And you're crying. That makes sense. But right now, do you think the crying is going to help you or doing the homework is going to help you? Yeah. And then he's like, he doesn't want to admit it, but he gets it. So that's one of the biggest things right now that we try to just make sure we always let them know, like, hey, you could be loving, you could be strong, and you can have healthy relationships. Yes. And you don't always have to, bend over backwards for people who consider you as an option. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, I know, we've had conversations just in general about family life and what that looks like. And I know you are always talking about Brizette and the boys, but Brizette, oh my God.
Yeah, man, look.
Okay, so say how y'all met.
Oh, man. All right.
I kind of know some of it. But.
Man, 1998. That's what. No, I got to take it back because, all right, so we tell this story, and I only know this is God. I know this for sure. Even everyone who we've explained this story to, they always say the same thing. So her and I, or she said, in elementary school, we grew up in New York. So our elementary school was 3 blocks away from my house, 4 blocks away from her house. Okay. She lived 1 block over up the street. She said, yeah, I used to walk you to school every single day.
Wait, she said that?
Yes. Okay. And I was like, who are you? She was like, yeah, you walked with all your friends on the block. It was like a big blob of kids. We all just, I don't know how it happened. It's like kind of like cartoons when you see everybody walking up the street and more, and then it was like this big mob walking up the street. She was like, I was in that group. I was like, you were? She was like, yeah, my friend, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. So that was that. And then we met again in 7th grade. So we had a mutual friend that lived across the street. She had some party, and she was a little bit younger than us. She had a party. She was there. She asked me to dance, and I'm 7th grade. I'm like,
Brizette asked you to dance?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't dance. No. So I told her.
Chilling on the wall.
Yeah, I dance. I don't do the dance. And she was like, okay. All right. So that was in 7th grade. And then fast forward until I graduated in 1998 from high school. No, yeah, 1998 from high school. And then she graduated in 99, but 98 graduated. I was always like kind of hanging out with my friends on the corner because I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do something, but I don't know. College is not gonna be it. And then she walked by, and I was like, yo, who is that? And I talked to her, and then from there, that's when we started like kind of talking and eventually dating. But that's how we met. And I was like, I can't let you pass. She was like, you that same guy? I was like, what are you talking about? And then she started replaying all. So I used to wear this backpack. And I'm like, really?
Oh
so years went by. And then again, from that point, we were inseparable. So I was like, here she goes. No, you're not ready yet. Here she goes. Nah, you're not ready yet. But I would say for her, because again, I was always the type to hang out with friends. I had friends and I hate to say it, but they're still there. But it was her family that kind of like lit the fire under me, because in school, it was effortless. Like all through school, all A's until like 4th grade. Again, when my mom passed, like that was rough because I don't even remember taking finals or anything like that in 3rd grade because I just didn't want to go. Yeah. So 4th grade, it kind of like just moved me along. 4th grade, it was like, I don't remember anything. So 5th grade, it went downhill. And I had to dig back out there. And in 6th grade, that's when things started going, forward again. Yeah. But it was her family that was like, they asked me, and they see me coming around. They was like, okay, I like this kid. But what's your plan? Yeah. And I was like, what do you mean a plan? Like, I'm like 19. What plan am I have right now? It's like, are you planning on going to college? You want to get a city job? Because they had her saying, no, you're going to go to school and we want to help you find out your career path. Yeah. So she's always telling me, she's like, so what are you gonna do? Yeah. Like, because I think you have to do something. It's like, but I'm fine now. I'm working in the airport. I'm driving a truck. I'm good. She's like, I think you could do more. So from there, start dibbling, dabbling. Went to one school. Was like, I don't like that. I'm done. And then we finally went to community school together. And then I was like, all right, let me give it this, because clearly if I want to be with her, I have to really consider what am I gonna do. And then from there, we went down to Valdosta, and so it was the push from them that got me like really thinking like maybe I do need to go to school. Okay, I'll do it. Yeah, it was a good thing though.
No, that is a good thing. Yeah, I'm glad that they were able to be that. I won't say. I guess it is a resource, or just that push that you needed to get there. No, that's good. Okay, so then kind of same question. So we talked about what you're looking forward to for the boys. What are you looking forward to down the road with you and Brissette?
Oh, wow. Oh, man, we talk about this all the time. So we have this big desire to clearly move out the country. We've visited several countries, one Thailand last year, and it was eye-opening because I love the U.S. I do, but there's so much more out there. Yeah. There's so much more. That's kind of where this whole government contract comes in too, because I'm like, hold on a sec. Yeah. I could still log in. Yeah. I'm not gonna get into that.
No, we won't.
Like, listen, leave that alone. But yeah, that's our desire. So it's right now really trying to be intentional with each other to kind of like constantly look towards our future, because the kids, they're gonna move out. Right. And then we don't want to be empty nesters. Like, okay, so what do we have in common again? Yeah. So we always like talk about our dreams of what we want to do. So that's one of the biggest things. We want to go out and explore more. Yeah. Because we've noticed in our community that it's always you're sticking to one region, and a lot are only sticking to one state, and a lot are only sticking to one neighborhood. Even like venturing out in different parts of the state is like a big thing. We were like, there's other countries, and it's not everything that you see here because we're here and we just consume stuff here. Right. There's so much more that you can see out there. So that's our dream. We want to explore as much as possible and experience different cultures.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
cool. That's cool. Don't wait till retirement.
No. Gosh, no. We don't want to wait that long.
Good. Yeah. Okay, so I know you're talking about government contracting a little bit, and how you won a contract. Congratulations again.
I know.
How do you see that growing for you? Like, I know you and I have had conversations offline, but how do you see just that government contracting side growing as another line of business?
Okay. So for me personally, I think I mentioned this yesterday in the car. It's every job that you have, it's preparing you for something else. Yeah. So like the whole not burning bridges point, but my professional career was in claims. I was a casualty supervisor. We handled units that went through people who went through catastrophic car accidents. Some died, fatalities and such like that. So that was my unit. But in that job, you had to learn case management. And case management was one claim, your name, you handled it. Both sides, attorneys, cars, everything. And at first I was like, man, that's a lot for one person to handle. And it was at one point I was handling 250 of them. So I had 250 different claims. And on each claim, it could be a bus. It could be 30 people on there. So you were managing all that and you were responsible for that.
Wow.
So fast forward now, it's so crazy because everything what I learned in that career was about building relationships with body shops, with attorneys, with medical providers, with everyone. So you had all these different like tentacles going out, but you were the main source, the hub of everything.
Yes.
So you had to manage it.
Yes.
So right now it's so crazy because even the calls that I make to like, if there's a subcontractor or if there's a CO that I'm calling, or there's a case that I'm working, which will be the contract, it's everything I did from before. I'm like, oh crap, this is so much easier.
Transferable.
Yeah. So I was like, this is not 250, this one. So I'm calling them proactively and they be like, man, you're really on top of it. I was like, yeah, you just emailed me. I'm going to email you back.
Right.
But you actually emailed back. I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I email you back?
Yes.
So I think that right now, I see it growing just based off the fact that the feedback that I'm getting is like, you can actually be reached.
Yeah.
And they said, one time I heard, man, if a lot of other contractors had your ethic, meaning that if I call you or if I email you, I'm not waiting a week, or I'm actually getting a real phone number.
Yes.
It's not a Google number
Yes.
or, excuse me, I have to go through this person to figure out just one question I may have, like, hey, when's delivery coming?
Yeah.
So I think personally, I'm always thinking optimistically. I think it's gonna grow.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm excited about it because it's a line of business that I'm tapping into a customer that has a big pocketbook.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
a huge pocketbook. So no, but that's not all about it. But yeah,
that is the reality of it. I mean, even for me and our company, government contracting is the foundation of where we are. And part of that decision was for longevity, because contracts, I mean, yes, you can get the smaller, shorter time frame contracts, but the longer term contracts are the ones that help to sustain so that we can do business development in other areas, which I think is also key. I mean, you're talking about relationships. That is business development. I think a lot of small businesses miss that opportunity, and they literally just like, here's my capability statement, which is like a resume. Give me a contract. And it's like, but they don't know you from a can of paint.
Yeah.
And they just want to skip the process of developing that relationship to try to win a contract. What's up, Bold Move besties? Guess what I'm offering? Government contract coaching for small businesses. It is your opportunity to get the real, the relevant, and the way to do government contracting correctly with the federal, local, and state government. Inside, you will get details on how to start in government contracting all the way through winning your first contract, which is, by the way, not guaranteed, but we're trying to get you there. So if you're interested, please sign up in the link below, and I will catch you in the next cohort. So we know when we go after contracts, we can see the interested vendors. This is on federal side. We can see the vendors that are interested. Have you ever reached out to any of the vendors?
No, because I just learned that just now. Okay. Listen, I was just real time. So I learned that, we're filming. So I learned that. I was like, wait, there's interested vendors? What is that? So that was a gem that was dropped. I was like, oh man, just wait. So now I'm interested in that because it's happened to me. When you put yourself out there as far as like on SAM,
yes,
you get hit from everywhere. You get stuff in the mail.
Yes.
You get calls. You get calls from companies saying, we can find you a contract. I'm like, really? How you going to do that? And I play around with them like, really? Is it going to be $1 million? And they're like, well, not $1 million. We don't know what it is. I'll say, oh, it's not $1 million. I don't want it. So, but now I'm getting hit up. And I was hit up by drone pilots because they see my NAICS code. And they're like, we do drone service. I was like, how did you find me? Yep. And I started realizing, like, if I click the button that says, like, save, and then I guess it sees me on that point. I don't know.
So they can look you up. Other companies can look you up. Interested vendors is another way to do it. And that's basically you responded to something. And so you're now on a list. The small business dynamic search that we were talking about at one point, that also is how we could find other potential partners or other vendors that do what you do.
Okay.
But yeah, there's ways to find. I mean, because once you're on SAM.gov, you're I'm not gonna say you're golden, but you're searchable.
Yes, yes, yeah. Yeah. That was how they found me, because it was if you download the documents.
Yes.
Like, this company has downloaded the documents 20 times, and I looked on. I was like, you downloaded this 30 times. Like, what are you doing? But I realized, I was like, where did I put it? I don't know where I put it.
Yeah.
Let me download it again. And so he's really interested. So I think that's how they found me. But yeah, no, it's interesting. It's like a brand new. It's brand new as far as like trying to learn the ins and outs. And I know you can't even learn all of the ins and outs, but it's cool to see, like, wow, people have been doing, or companies have been doing this for years. And I didn't even have any idea that this existed 4 years ago.
Yeah.
No clue.
Yeah.
And it was like, you open this book, and I'm like, oh my gosh, all this is here? Yeah,
Any agencies you're looking at?
Yes. Yeah. So from advice from this lady here, because like I said, I listen. So HS, I've been realizing that tier, or that big agency, has a lot to do with all the smaller tiers that are really catering to small businesses, like CDC and FDA and some others. So I'm almost watching them. I'm almost watching them. I think it's kind of like that stance, like, hey, let's keep an eye here and let's focus here, because clearly they want to work with small businesses. So that's the big one.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. And I think a lot, not a lot, I'm not gonna say a lot. I think some small businesses don't have the focus. They don't know which agencies they should be looking at. They don't know what is worth their time, because they don't know how to research what's worth their time. So that's, I've talked about it before, but it's like, you need to look at, how are they meeting their small business goals? Are they doing any special set aside? That's like if you're woman owned or a veteran or something like that. And so they just go and they try to talk to all the agencies, and then they're not getting in there in crickets, because they're very shallow, instead of picking, I'd say at max 3 1/4 and going deep.
Oh, okay.
And I would even say, even the 3, I feel like if it's a one person, I would not do 3. I would probably, like, kind of like how you said HHS, and that you're drilling down. I would look at that 1 and then drill down. So I mean, you're doing fine. I ain't,
no, we're far from fine.
Anything else on Gov you wanna?
Oh man, again, every day I learn something new. Every day I learn something new. But I think it's like just it's so much that half the time, like, you get on and then now you're down a completely separate rabbit hole. Like, I didn't even know over here existed. And the only thing that I would say for small businesses is, once you like open your eyes to it, you have to be open to a lot of things. You can't just go in there saying, well, I've done this way. No, because every agency, just by looking at solicitations, everyone does it different.
Yes.
And it's even down to the contracting officer will do it different. Like, you're looking for an SS 1449 and there is none. And like, should I include it? Did I ask you for that?
Yeah.
It's like, and you ask the question, like, did I put it in there? No. And then you hear crickets, like, okay, he just answered the question because he doesn't want that yet. So it's like you have to learn, and that's where, like, kind of like putting them in a CRM, and just really putting notes next to it, like, he does not send an SF 1449. He's not going to do that. He's going to send it after. So, but there's no like playbook to say this agency does it this way,
right? Because
again, everybody does it different. So I think that's the biggest thing that I'm learning now. It's like, you have to go into every day learning something new with a complete open mind.
Yes, 100% agree.
Yeah, and
100%.
Every solicitation is different.
It is.
Everyone, because one may ask for this in this order, and the other one is asking for this in that order.
Yes.
And you can't necessarily look at what happened before, because it's a different weight or it's a different scope.
Yep.
So it's just reading a lot.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely. Yes.
That's it. You just gotta read. That's it. You gotta.
And it's important to carve that time out, right? Because if you don't take the time to not only understand what's out there, what's available, but then actually read the requirements, you can miss out on opportunities. Yes. Whether that's a conference call to where they're talking about the potential contract and the opportunity, what it looks like, or that's submitting the bid at a proper hour. Because I can attest, I had did that before. We missed the deadline and it sucked, and we missed out on even being able as a consideration for the contract. And so, I'm agreeing with you. I think that it's important to pay attention to those details and read. It's fundamental.
Yeah.
All right, Jay. So what do you think you are most looking forward to for the next coming year, or the year? Let's say the year.
Wow. That's a good. It drilling more into the government side.
Yeah.
And with that, not gaining more time, but just gaining more clarity on the direction to go. Meaning, instead of like spreading yourself thin, focusing in on this is what I'm going to do, and then building support around that.
Yeah.
So I think that's by far right now one of the key things that I'm realizing, because you can't. Yes, I do a lot, but you realizing like teams is what's really going to drive your business forward, or drive
everything. Scale.
Yeah, you got to scale. Oh gosh, you got to scale. So that's one thing, and I learned that in the wedding business, because backing up, when my business partner and I had the company together, at one point we had 10 photographers and like 6 videographers.
Dang.
And again, all contract, but again, we could run 3 weddings on a particular day. And it doesn't even have to be in the same state. We were in Vegas and had 2 going on back in Georgia, but it's just building systems, building accountability, and just trusting the people that you train. And for me, it was just the micromanaging. If you say you're going to do it, until you prove me wrong, I'm trusting you. But yeah, so that in this next year, that's what I'm looking forward to. Just building that support and those systems to make sure that eventually I can disappear.
Right.
I can fade to the back.
That part. No, that's important, especially recognizing the fact that you need the additional team members to be able to help, like you said, pull you where you're not having to be the one at the forefront and having them and trusting them. But then the other part is making sure that they're able to help you scale in that space. Yeah, no, that's cool. Okay, so this is the fun part, because everyone gets this question.
I know. Oh, I'm ready for this. I know this question. Now go ahead.
What is your definition of success?
Oh, I have one word: options.
Let's go.
Options. So success to me means that you have options in front of you, and you could pick your best option based off the information that you have right now. When being unsuccessful is being presented with something and have no other choice but to go for it. Yeah, I have to. I can't. My back is against the wall. Yeah. So having options is like, what am I going to do here? What do I want to do here? Yeah. Do I want to go into this direction? But just having that runway to make that educated decision, that's what success is to me. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That is it.
That's dope. No, I like the options thing. And you're right. It's freeing. It's liberating. It's flexible. Yeah. But yeah, options. All right, bet. Any parting words, Jay? Anything I missed?
No. You got everything. So I think the biggest thing for me is with my upbringing, with everything that I had going on, and again, failed businesses, and just every day going out, filming stuff. Oh, I messed that up. It's just being okay with being not okay. Yeah. So if as long as you have that, as long as you have the resilience, but it's like, I learned from that. That wasn't a fail, but I will get it next time. It's like, just if you could just have that, even in the government contracting space, realizing like, I didn't win that, but I didn't win it, but I learned from it. Yes. Okay. And just being okay with just being considered. Yes. I think that, like, all right, I think you mentioned it yesterday. I know you guys didn't see it yet. You mentioned like giving the other guest, I'm not going to say her name. She said, as long as you give it at least 1%. Yes. And I think you said 70%. May have. I don't know. But as long as you're giving some type of percent towards something, the direction that the goal that you have, and being okay, like it's not going to be 100, but I did something today, and just being okay, like at least I did something. You're already 2 steps ahead of the person that said, I'm going to do it, and they didn't do anything. Yep. And then just do that every day. Yes. Every single day. Every single day. And then you realize like how much further you've progressed by just doing just something into the direction, taking 1 step into that direction where you want to be. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. Every single day. Mic drop. Oh, man. Well, I appreciate you, Jay, for coming on. No, I appreciate you having coming me. From behind the lens so that we can have this conversation. Yes. It's been very
always a pleasure just to hear not only your stories, your background, but just how you're growing in life and family life and business. It's just a beautiful thing. All right, Bold Move Besties, you know what time it is. It's homework time. I'm going to find out a nice name for homework. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of teacher-esque, but it's okay. We're going to roll with it. Here's your homework. Think about your goals and where you want to be in the next 30 days. I'm not asking for a year. I'm not even asking for a quarter. Where do you want to be in the next 30 days? Write it down. If you need some accountability, DM me on IG. I got you. But write it down and then set a reminder, whether it's an alarm or a calendar invite, and check to see where you are with that goal. Are you in that 1%? Did you do that 1% each day to get you just that much closer? Or did you push it to the side? All right, Bold Move Besties, until next time, I'll catch you on the next episode of She Built Success. Bye.